Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to begin this analysis by asking you one question. What do you think? Having looked at the drama between President Ruto and his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua, did William Ruto just underestimate the wrath of Rigathi Gachagua? Having looked at the way things have transpired politically ever since Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, or did William Ruto forget that Rigathi Gachagua was his student, the way Ruto himself was a student of Raila Amolo Odinga? I'm asking this question because Rigathi is injecting. Rigathi has simply become the biggest nemesis of William Ruto, and he has become a thorn in the flesh. Today, Rigathi announced that he was to leave the country for a political tour in the US. And Rigathi had even indicated that he had wind that the government would stop him or arrest him at JKIA. And he said he was okay with that. Now, this foreign tour came against a backdrop of a political bickering, altercation, and accusation and counter-accusation between Rigathi himself and William Samoei Ruto. It started when a very an openly looking angry Ruto was in Nairobi, and he warned Rigathi Gachagua and his allies that they risk being arrested. And he was saying, insinuating that it is Rigathi Gachagua and these people who sent goons to destroy pieces of property within the country during the Sabasaba demonstrations. And Ruto was very angry. In a video that I've played in my earlier videos, I don't want to repeat that video. Gachagua also answered William Ruto, and he said that he has credible information that on that fateful day, it is the government led by William Samoei Ruto that was in charge of goons that they dropped at vintage points in areas that are perceived to be Ruto operants. And he said that they were instructed to loot so that it would be blamed on Gachagua, to loot, and Gachagua was saying that this was a plot, part of an economic sabotage against the Kikuyu community or those who follow Rigathi Gachagua's political ideologies. Gachagua added that there is an elite squad that is under the directive of NIS and guised as DCI. William Ruto was not going to stop there, and using unpalatable terms and even calling, he continued with the name calling, stupid, what, persuaded or challenged Rigathi Gachagua to come out and report to the authorities if he knew the government officials that were in charge of the goons that orchestrated the mayhem that took place, mayhem, looting and torching of people's property during Sabasaba. And Rigathi gave a very lethal reply. First, this is William Ruto.
Nasikia kuna mtu anatangaza ati ametoa taarifa kusema ati serikali ilipanga wahuni na watu wa kubomoa biashara na kuharibu biashara na kuchoma biashara ya watu wa jamii moja. Kama huyo mtu ni mwanaume kamili, atuambie hawa watu ni kina nani. Aende andikishe statement, aseme ni mtu fulani, ni kiongozi fulani, ni sehemu fulani. Kutangaza tu mambo ya ujinga kwa mitandao, mambo ya siasa, is unacceptable. So if any leader has information to the effect that the burning of citizens' properties in Meru, in Murang'a, in Kiambu, in Kirinyaga, was orchestrated by any official in government. If you are a responsible leader, you should be able to provide that information to the public so that those behind these heinous acts can be arrested, can be taken to court and charged for criminal activity. Otherwise, if you are playing politics with businesses of people who are shedding tears because they have lost their property, they have lost their businesses, then shame on you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Rigathi Gachagua too was not taking it lying down. And they moved to episode 3 now, where Rigathi decided to answer William Ruto using a very strong worded comment in his X handle. And I want us to read it together because this was the last one before he jetted out of the country. Very fast, this is what Rigathi Gachagua is saying. Rigathi says, "Give us a break." That is how he begins his reply to Ruto. And he says, or rather, begins with a question: how do we report state-sponsored militia and those who organized them to the police who supervised them as they burnt and looted property? You are asking us to name those who organized. I named you as the person responsible for unleashing violence against the community that made you president. How do I report you to the same police you directed to supervise and protect the militia as they brutalized Kenyans? You have even gone further to add insult to injury by directing them to shoot innocent Kenyans on the legs. You could not even send condolences to the dead. You lack feelings and humanity. We shall report you not to the Kenyan police, but the International Criminal Court as an address you are familiar with. So I want us to look at the accusations and counter-accusations between Rigathi and William Samuel Ruto. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you're watching for the first time. Click the notification bell to allow YouTube to notify you. Please don't forget to like and share videos. So, ladies and gentlemen, Rigathi has an issue with the directives, or rather, Ruto's sentiments that if he is sure that there were government officials that sponsored goons on Sabasaba, then he should report them to government authorities. And Rigathi is simply asking that Ruto is the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. And indeed, according to him, Ruto is the one who ordered the police to guard the goons as they wreaked mayhem in the country. And he's asking, how then can I report you, first of all? Because William Ruto is saying, give us the names. And he says, the number one name is you. So how do I direct you to the people who are under you, the people you ordered? And Rigathi, that's why I was asking, did William Ruto just underestimate the wrath of Rigathi Gachagua? Yeah. He said there, the same militia were sponsored and were under the supervision of the police. So how do they report? And you know, people are really confused. William Ruto on one end is saying, ni nyinyi opposition, ni wewe Gachagua. And William Ruto is so much convinced that it is Gachagua. Gachagua on his end believes it is Ruto who sponsored the goons. So who is fooling who? Who will blink first? And where are we as Kenyans? Because I keep on giving this example. I have not seen, or I don't have anything that can link Rigathi Gachagua to sponsoring goons to vandalize properties owned by business communities from Mount Kenya. Because in the past, Gachagua has been very consistent that their property, their pieces of property and their businesses should be a no-go zone. He has made that categorically. He's always said that demons are meant to destroy their properties. One of the things that made them fall out with Ruto was when Ruto directed him to be in charge of, I don't know, Nairobi River, to be in charge of demolishing houses that were built at the riverbank. And Rigathi was saying, no, you are selective, cherry picking, houses that you want to pull down. And he was saying that this was targeted to his people. So I don't think Rigathi can make a U-turn to the worst and start, destroying their property. On Ruto's side, I have seen his governor. It was on national TV when goons reported to City Hall, giving a report that they had done their work, wamechunga jiji. Ideally, this has been left in the court of the public opinions, and if I were to judge based on what we have at the face value, I would say the government is guilty. However, we need to see more evidence. But one more thing that Rigathi is saying, you lack feelings and humanity. And he says you could not even send condolences to the dead. Is it true that William Ruto has not even condoled with those who were killed? I know Ruto believes that he's trying to justify that those who were killed when looting got their doors. What about those people who were killed innocently? Maybe those, like I saw in Kiambu some others saying they were having some good moment with their children at home when they had a sudden sound, and then before they knew it, the son was lying down in a pool of blood. If it is true that William Ruto has not even condoled with them, then it's true. Rigathi says he lacks feelings and humanity. But now the last one, Rigathi says, we are going to report you to the ICC, the International Criminal Court, which and he says, a criminal court, an address you are familiar with. Rigathi, Rigathi ako na uchokozi. Anamwambia wewe unajuana na ICC. Hapo umezoea kwa sababu is reminding him of what happened in 2007. And Rigathi has always said, you killed us in Kiamba. Rigathi knows which buttons to press. If I were William Samoei Ruto, I would stop this verbal altercation with Rigathi Gachagua. If they are sure that Rigathi and his allies are the ones who sponsored goons, the hands of the law is long. Why can't they just why can't they just arrest them, take them to court, let them be charged, let them produce sufficient evidence, and let us see. So as Rigathi Gachagua leaves for the US, he has left a bombshell. Tunakupeleka, tutakureport pale ICC. This is going to be, and Ruto and his foot soldiers, people like Kimani Ichung'wah, have been given something to talk about. These days, Rigathi almost, dictates what they want to discuss. We are approaching weekend. You will see what happens on Sunday when they go to church. It will be accusations and more counter accusations. And when Rigathi comes back, he will pick it from where he has lost it. And I know he will still be tweeting because tomorrow Ruto will, dig deep and will still call Rigathi names. Rigathi will answer. For the US tour, this is something that we are looking at closely. Who is Rigathi going to meet? What is he going to say? Because we really expect Rigathi is going to destroy William Ruto. He will be, digging in the past. He will be explaining quite a lot. But ladies and gentlemen, who do you trust? And do you think Rigathi should go and report the very, very government officials to the police while he believes it's the police that supervised the looting? I don't know. As for him, he has said it, and he says he's a truthful man. And let me tell you why William Ruto has got a disadvantage and Rigathi has an advantage over him. William Ruto William Ruto's other name is liar. He has lied so many times in the country that it has become normal. Even if you accuse him of something he has not lied about, people, usually or automatically accept it. They will buy it. We have a president who can quote wrong scriptures and he doesn't blink. We have a president who has promised heaven and delivering hell is a problem. For Rigathi Gachagua, he mentions it with a lot of authority, and many a times whatever he says has always come out to be true. Rigathi says he's enjoying a certain, kind of information from the DCI, from the NIS, from some senior policemen. So people tend to believe him because he says that he's a truthful man. He does not shy off from expressing what he wants. And that is why when this case is placed in the court of public opinion, Rigathi will carry the day. But as usual, these are politicians. They were once good friends. Now they have fallen out, and we expect quite a lot. As for William Ruto, the die is cast, and the one-term call is real. People are really very tired, and I think to him, it's too late for him. 2027, as we have always advocated on this channel, Rigathi said it, no one is interested in toppling Ruto's government, and people want to humiliate him in the ballot. That's my take.